What grade do you give the Bears for their Trubisky pick?
Joy, Shannon, I'm going to be charitable, and I'm going to give the Bears a D-, but that's only because I worked in Chicago for a while for the Chicago Tribune. I covered the Bears, and I still have a whole lot of Bears fans, friends in Chicago. And I'm just trying to go easy on them because, trust me, I heard from a lot of them last night. They are devastated over this indefensibly idiotic move. Once again, by the Chicago Bears, the nightmare continues. Hey, Chicago, at least you got the Cubs. You got it, right? This is like the reverse of the Cubs, what happened last night. And, you know, once upon a time, you're a lot older than I am, so you get this, but the Bears were called the Monsters of the Midway. Remember that?
Yes,
But
sir.
you also remember the 60s sort of sitcom show called The Munsters. Remember that? With Herman Munster, right? So now they've gone back to being the Munsters of the Midway because this is Herman Munster kind of stuff. They gave 2 third-round picks and a 4th-round pick to move up only 1 slot to take a quarterback that the 49ers clearly were not going to take, or they wouldn't have traded the pick, right? And they do need a quarterback, the 49ers. So they're out on Mitchell Trubisky. And furthermore, I'm assuming that the Bears feared that the Browns would then reverse field after they took Myles Garrett number 1 and try to trade up to the number 2 pick. And yet, why would anybody have suspected or feared that the Bears were even thinking about taking a quarterback because they had already wasted a whole lot of money on a Mike Glennon that they gave 3 years, $45 million to with $18.5 guaranteed. So now the Bears own 2 quarterbacks who are both, what were they thinking on both cases? Furthermore, in all my years of covering the draft, I'm going to say this one more time. I've been beating this drum on this show now for about 3 weeks. I have never seen a weirder, more bizarre bandwagon roll for a quarterback the way this one rolled for Mitchell Trubisky. This is a sheep-think league. You know this. Once one GM somewhere down the line, I don't know, way back in January, I don't know where it was, somebody said, I'm starting to like this Trubisky kid. And then another GM said, you know what? Maybe I should like him. And then another one said, wait a minute, maybe I should like him too. And then everybody was loving Mitchell Trubisky, a guy I watched, I don't know, 4 or 5 times last year at North Carolina, which was his first year as the starter. He was there for 3 years, couldn't beat out Marquise Williams. And
who's on the practice squad somewhere in the NFL?
Somewhere. I'm not even sure he's still on it, but whatever, I'm with you. He's not going to play in the NFL. And I watched him, and I would sit back and think, well, if you told me at that moment while I was watching him, he's going to go in the 5th round of this coming draft, I'd say, whatever. Okay, I can see that.
No, they would have Skip. Watching him play, I didn't think he was coming out. Why would he come out?
Why would he
if you
come
coming out, if you in the 5th round?
Right. Did you ever think franchise quarterback?
No.
Number 2 pick in the draft?
No.
So to me, Mitchell Trubisky is Jake Locker, is Blaine Gabbert, is Christian Ponder, and those are the 3 quarterbacks who went 8th, 10th, and 12th in the 2011 draft. He's that guy. All over again. He's that guy. He'll win a few games here and there, and he'll lose a whole bunch more games, and he will come, and then he will go, and you'll say 5, 7, 10 years from now, you say, what were they thinking? They spent all that to go up to number 2 for this guy, for Mitchell Trubisky? And again, I said this on the show yesterday, and faithfully, he wound up in Chicago, but when I watched Jay Cutler in college, he flashed off your screen. You said, wow, there's a big talent right there. That guy, he might be able to do some big damage in the National Football League. And I believe that this guy isn't half as talented as Jay Cutler. Now, clearly, I'm sure Mitchell Trubisky cares far more about playing football than Jay ever did. And that's the big problem. But when I look at this, I say, what is it? What did somebody see in him that would even make him a 1st-round pick, let alone the number 2 overall pick in the draft, let alone a Ryan Pace, the Bears GM, trying to sell him as this is the ultimate position and we found the ultimate. You did not. No, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry to report to my friends in Chicago, Bears fans, the nightmare continues.
Well, Skip, I'm going to have to piggyback everything that you just said because you know what I gave him? I gave him a D. And the only reason I didn't give him an F is because they gave up 3rd-round picks instead of 1st-round picks to move up that 1 spot. Skip, as you said, this makes no sense. You just gave Mike Glennon 3 years, $45 million, 18 guaranteed.
Mike Glennon?
So you know what you just did, Skip? You just gave $18 million for a bridge because Mike Glennon is the bridge to Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's a bridge. Because at some point in time this year, if he doesn't start this year, he's starting next year.
I would hope so.
Because if Carson Wentz got about, what, 24, 25 million guaranteed, he's going to get 10% more than that. So he's going to be somewhere around 27.5 guaranteed.
Yep.
If you're paying him that kind of money, he's starting sooner rather than later. This makes no sense to me. It sounds like, it appears to me, it doesn't sound like, it appears to me that they didn't think this thing through. That they went and says, okay, we got to find our quarterback. Okay, we got our quarterback for, say, a year or for at least 2 years. And then all of a sudden, like, hold on, wait a minute. The Browns didn't take Mitchell Trubisky? That means he's there for us?
Yeah.
Skip, they always overvalue that position. Just because it's the most premium piece of land.
Yep.
It's like you're in New York and you're on 5th of Park Ave.
Yep.
That's premium real estate. Just because you need it doesn't mean you overvalue and go get it. I believe this young man, not Skip, he can prove me out to be a liar. And if at some point in time in the next 10 years, if he turns out to be what they think he's going to be, which is a franchise Super Bowl winning quarterback, I would have no problems apologizing.
Yeah, I'm with
but
you.
I don't see it. And so with you doing what you did, it's not that huge of a price, Skip. I mean, you give up 2 threes and a 4. I mean, it's not like you gave up, what they gave up to get RG3 or what they gave up to get Jared Goff. Now you're getting what's lower than an F. Whatever that was, that's what I would have given them. But let me tell you what this did, Skip. It bought John Fox and GM, head coach John Fox and the general manager Pace at least 1 year.
I'll give you that.
It gives them at least 1 more year. Because you're going to say, look, at least give us an opportunity to start this kid for an entire season and see what he has before you make a decision on our future.
Okay, last quick point, though. You say 2/3 and a 4th, not that much to move up. I think they were bidding against themselves because I don't think they needed to move up. I could be wrong, but I just don't think they needed to. I think he would still have been there at 3. So it's all waste.
But the quarterback position was all over the board.